love tambak overlanders.
I love tambak overlanders.
I love tambak overlanders.
I love tambak overlander.
I love tambak overlanders.
I love tambak lander. Okay dah. Okay apa? I love tambak overlander.
What's up guys, Fahan here, and today I am with Zul. So
Hello guys.
yeah.
What's up?
So 3 days ago Hadi contacted me. He said he got surprise and he insists that I come with a camera what. Then Hadi go
Adi went out for a while bro. I thought he want to meet you but I think he will come with a surprise
What surprise? You also say the same thing. Okay, what surprise? What surprise? What?
Adi will have a big surprise for you bro. So later when you stand out here, then you will see him with the big surprise
Big surprise
Yes.
Apa surprise Just nothing here Only got car ni.
Can hear not? Can hear
Hear
you?
what?
I only hear one Volkswagen Eh! Siapa?
You got X-ADV? This one your one or what? This one your one Is this yours? Is this your bike or what?
This is a surprise bro.
Wow! So this one is what? A rental bike?
Yes sir.
X-ADV?
Finally.
Serious bro? Come on bro, guys, as you guys know, this one my dream bike and finally oh serious
Serious?
Then not your bike this one?
Oh.
Serious bro, serious
12 seconds later.
They've spoken to me. This is officially auto exchange rental bike. They've kindly given me the keys for 2 days for a review. So as usual, our promo code still stands say I love tambak overlanders and you'll get a 15% discount, and you may even get a chance to rent this bike right here. Oh my god guys, my dream bike finally man, get to test ride it Thanks Adi, thanks Thanks guys, thanks Wow, this surprise really worth it worth to come here And we'll see you in a bit. Right guys, so I'm finally gonna review my dream bike, the Honda X-ADV, courtesy of Auto Exchange. Hadi, thank you so much for hooking me up with this bike and surprising me. I had no idea that you guys got this bike. You know, on my way here, I'm like smiling inside the helmet. So anyway, right now we're in Merdini, somewhere in Nusa Jaya or Iskandar Putri. Auto Exchange actually allows their bikes to be ridden into Malaysia, but you need to clarify with Hadi on this because only certain bikes are allowed to be ridden into Malaysia Oh my god, X-ADV man. Right, so the ride height is 82 cm. Okay, kinda high for me. I'm tiptoeing considerably on the X-ADV, and it doesn't help that it's weighing at 238 kg, so it's kind of heavy. But I guess if you love the bike, it's certainly something you get used to Okay, so there's a 13-litre fuel tank with a projected consumption of 3.64 litres per 100 kilometers. So I must say that it's pretty fuel saving, very much in line with the NC series of bikes Okay, so as always, gonna start off with a steady riding, and after that we're gonna go into the highway and since we're in Malaysia, of course we're gonna whack this bike a bit. Starting this bike is not as straightforward as if any other motorcycle. Okay, so as with all the maxi scooters, there is this ignition dial, and so you press it on it and twist, and the LCD gauge cluster comes on. So press the ignition. Whew. It sounds actually very much similar to my Honda NC750, so it's no different the sound. Even you put aftermarket exhaust, so there's really no difference in the sound. So automatically it's on neutral, so you cannot move the bike, and you need to actually put the bike in D, which is drive, and this automatically sets the bike in DCT mode, which is the auto mode Okay, so it's basically you need to toggle anything. So if you want to go into manual, there's actually an auto manual switch over here on the right handlebar control. So switch it the mode D disappears, and you can change gears using the plus and minus button on the right handlebar control. So it really works differently from a typical clutch motorcycle, and there's no clutch for you to play with. Left and right levers is all brake. So by default, when you start the bike, as always, it will be in automatic mode. So to change to manual, okay, so we're in manual mode right now. I'm gonna try and ride around a bit. Okay, so to change gears, just press, and it's very subtle. You don't even feel like the bike is shifting for you. There's just like a tick 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 and we are in 5th gear already. So manual mode is more useful in off-road situation where riders, certain terrain, they need to maintain certain gears. So it holds the gear. So plus oh my gosh, oh my god. So that is manual mode for you. So to change it to automatic mode, just toggle the auto manual button. You're in automatic mode right now. I'm not sure if anybody uses traffic lights around here, but we're just gonna stop lah. And I'm not even changing gears right now. The bike automatically changes the gear for you. So that's dual clutch transmission for you lah. You can, with a flick of a switch, you can change to auto or manual mode, which is pretty awesome lah. And even in manual mode, you don't even need to clutch in to change gears. You just, at a flick of a button, you can change your gears. No clutch for you to play with. It's really versatile lah, the X-ADV. And the riding experience is very different from any other bike that I've ridden before. So I think we are arriving at Sunway. So we're just gonna make a U-turn at the roundabout here. Okay, so we got a hum ahead. I don't think at night you can even see. The suspension is really good on this. It really absorbs most of the bumps and road imperfections. I don't know where the hell this guy is going. It's a very awesome ride to be riding on rough roads or rough terrain, you know. Let's make a left through here. Let's see what's inside here. So Madini, most of the places is not developed, and which makes it a perfect place to test out, you know, this bike. Oh my gosh, the pickup, the acceleration on X-ADV is really awesome. Even though it shares the same engine as my NC750, the X-ADV, they did some fine tuning on it, and it's actually much faster than the NC750. Maybe the 2nd gen and the 3rd gen NC750 is similar in performance to the X-ADV, but yeah, and for the 1st gen X-ADV, performance is really good. And I'm really getting good mileage here. I've been riding the bike the whole day, and only 3 bars left. And it also shows your average fuel consumption as you ride. You know, it toggles accordingly to the speed that you're riding, which is pretty interesting. Handling wise, it's pretty awesome. Means negotiating corners, turning leans and corners wherever you point the bike to. Oh man, look at this. Okay, let me switch to manual mode. Oh my gosh, I'm really feeling confident, man. Whee! Okay, so we are manual mode right now, changing to 3rd gear, 4th gear at a flick of a button, guys. Don't even need to clutch in and push up the gear. Oh man, I'm loving the X-ADV right now. Ooh, it sounds pretty bitchin'. Very much similar with my Emelina with aftermarket exhaust, but this exhaust is stock, surprisingly. It's so comfortable of a ride, you know. Like the riding posture is a typical scooter riding posture, okay. So after riding for a while, you tend to hunch your back, so do remember to straighten your back from time to time. Oh yeah, so I forget to mention that the engine braking is pretty bad on it, but there is a G button over here in which you can toggle to increase the engine braking. This is good for off-road situations. So we have pressed the G button, which is the gravel button, and gonna see how different the engine braking is compared to outside the G mode lah. Okay, so the engine braking is definitely increased with the gravel button. So you can see, so Honda says that the G button is more useful for off-road situations. So we're gonna switch back to auto mode now. So there's two riding modes on the X-ADV, and this only applies when you are riding the bike in auto mode lah. So right now we are in D mode, which is drive. This is the standard mode, and also the S mode. So the S mode, for what I can gather riding it right now, actually holds the gear much longer than in D mode lah. So I think this is like maybe for off-road situation, you want more power, you want more pickup, it will hold back the gear longer lah before it automatically changes. Actually, to be frank, I feel that the bike is much lighter in D mode than in S mode. So S mode tends to make the bike more heavy for some reason, maybe because it holds back the gear to the last second before it changes. That's why it makes the bike feel heavy lah. Oh man, I don't even know where the heck I am, you know. I'm just having the time of my life riding the X-ADV right now at Madini. This is a great place, you know, if you want to do photo shoot or ride in the city setting, clear roads right in front of you. This is the place to do it lah. Unveiled in 2015 in Italy as the Honda City Adventure concept, hybrid of a scooter and motorcycle, and initially marketed as an SUV on two wheels, with the comfort and the protection of a maxi scooter, crossed with the dynamic characteristics and off-road attitude of an adventure. Derived from the Honda NC750X platform and the riding tech of the Integra 700D, the X-ADV became Honda's best-selling motorcycle to date, with over 32,000 being sold in 2019. Response has been positive by reviewers and consumers alike. In 2021, Honda updated the X-ADV, improved the performance in weight with a redesigned exterior. The engine is shared with the NC series of bikes, a 745cc liquid-cooled 2-cylinder 4-stroke 4-valve SOHC with fuel injection and a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission. Right, so take note guys, this is the first generation Honda X-ADV, which was manufactured from 2017 till 2001. So we'll probably do a separate review on the second generation if given a chance and given the opportunity. So it may seem outdated lah from what we are gonna see in this review lah. Oh my god guys, I'm still reeling from the fact that I'm on my dream bike right now. Okay, so as usual with all the riding reviews, gonna start off with the riding posture. So riding posture, sitting on a bike right now is this typical maxi scooter position. Okay, your leg bend quite a bit, your arms still stretched out, very much this typical maxi scooter sitting position. But do remember to straighten your back from time to time, because after riding for a while you tend to hunch your back lah. At the right height of 82 cm, I'm 165 and very much tiptoeing considerably on this bike. Okay, and with a weight of 138 kg, is kind of heavy, so I think vertical challenge riders may have an issue with handling this bike in start-stop situation. So certainly something you need to get used to. I certainly need to get used to for these past 2 days with the bike. But if you love the bike, this kind of thing is certainly something you need to get used to, and once you get used to it, it probably won't bother you in the end. And of course, your foot placements on the floorboards, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. I don't think you're gonna tire yourself out on the touring trip on the X-ADV. And of course, we gotta talk about the X-ADV's design. So the design is the one that attracted me to this bike. Definitely aesthetically pleasing. Okay, it's actually designed by Honda Europe, particularly in Rome, Italy. And I have to praise that the Italians really know how to design a bike. Sharp, angular, straight lines, which is futuristic and radical for its time. Fortunately, it's well received when it was first unveiled, and to give off an adventure look, the X-ADV comes with a short beak, higher suspension and spoke rims, and kind of a cross between the Integra and the Africa Twin. And I also like the rear pillion foot peg, which is really flushed into design over here, and when you pull it out, oh, Pretty nice, man. Pretty nice. So let's talk about the handlebar controls, but first I'm gonna turn your attention to the handlebar, which is a naked setup. There's no plastic cladding on the handlebar with most other maxi scooters out there, and it's really easy to put accessories on it. For my case, it's very easy to clip on my temporary phone mount, and in the case of this particular X-ADV, there's a fork-like switch on it. And we've got to talk about the handlebar controls because there's some features that is on this bike unique to the X-ADV and Honda's DCT controls. To the left over here, there's the high beam, low beam, hazard indicator, horn, signal indicators, and also the DCT toggle, in which you want to shift up. There's a plus button over here, and when you want to shift down, there's a minus button over here. There's also a traction control button, which is added later on. This is actually an additional feature for the 2018 models. The 2017 models did not have traction control, or what Honda calls the Honda selectable torque control. To right over here, we have the kill switch, the starter, and of course this SDN, the riding modes, and also the neutral button. So when you're at manual mode, there's a neutral button to engage the bike in manual mode, and also S and D, which is actually the riding modes for this bike. S standing for sport, D standing for drive. So drive is the normal road mode, and the S is a sport mode lah. So interestingly, the S and D mode is activated only in DCT mode lah, and easily toggleable with the A and M button to the front over here. And of course, we got the brake levers in the front, left and right. Normal motorcycle, usually on the left side will be the clutch, but because of the X-ADV's unique DCT nature, the left lever is actually for the brake lah.
And right in the middle of the handlebar, above the ignition dial, you can see an array of warning lights. There's the neutral light, ABS light, the wireless key light, and also the parking brake light.
And also we got the ignition dial, which is like almost standard for all these maxi scooters, and below it is the buttons to open up the fuel cap and the underseat storage lah. Gosh, it's so complicated. It took me a while to actually have a tinker around with it, but I guess we did great lah for that. And also the gauge cluster. Okay, so this is a full LCD gauge cluster, and it's very informative. There's a lot of things that it displays, like there's a time. It also tells you the date, and also your average fuel consumption, air temperature, your odometer. And right below the gauge cluster is this button called G. Okay, so what this G button means is the gravel button. So the gravel button actually provides additional engine braking, especially useful for you're going off-road riding and going downhill in off-road situations lah. And this gravel button is also available on the Honda Africa Twin DCT models lah. So because of the DCT nature of this bike and the lack of a hand clutch, right, I think the G button will prove useful in off-road situations, I guess, when you want to slow down the bike or something. And not to forget, as with this maxi scooter kind of bikes, there's always a handbrake for you to park in an incline or slope, and it's actually over here. Pretty nifty lah. Feels like you're activating a handbrake in a car, And want to release it, you just grab it back again, and yeah. And of course, being centered around riding electronics at 8s, it's packed with a lot of features. Okay, so as mentioned, there's DCT, which is dual clutch transmission. So far, I've only seen this on Honda bikes. Dual channel ABS comes standard. Honda selectable torque control, or HSTC, or in layman's term, traction controller basically. So it's added for the 2018 model, and this particular bike has it. Full LCD gauge cluster, and also full LED lighting all around. Keyless transponder. There's also two riding modes, drive and sport. In drive, it offers smooth, predictable power. It's basically your normal road mode lah. And sport mode, which sharpens the throttle response and holds gears longer before changing up. So once again, the riding modes are only activated in DCT mode. In manual mode, basically you change gears with the buttons over here on the left handlebar controls. Once you get used to this DCT thing, it's really an awesome riding experience. So despite being a crossover motorcycle / scooter, it does feature underseat storage. So to open up the underseat storage, there's a seat button underneath the ignition dial. So press the seat button and opens up. And have to say that it's pretty small, but it's more than enough for you to fit full face helmet. It's 21 liters, and also there's a 12-volt power outlet similar to what you see in cars, so you have to put an adapter on it lah. So even though the underseat storage is small, because you're able to put a full face helmet, I'm pretty much satisfied with it lah. Horn check for the Honda X-ADV. And of course, being an international bike, it's available on all 4 corners of the globe. So there's a lot of riding accessories for the Honda X-ADV. From this model to the second generation, no shortage of aftermarket accessories for the Honda X-ADV. So for the colours that the X-ADV comes in, there's actually more choices for the first generation as opposed to the second generation, which really baffles me. I wish there were more colours for the second gen. For the one that's being reviewed right now, the colour is called Matte Bullet Silver, in which it doesn't look silver at all. It's more of a grey kind of color with a matte finishing. And there's also digital silver metallic, which is a lighter shade of silver. Matte green camo, which has this beautiful green camo design on the bodywork. And then there's my favorite color, which what Honda calls Victory Red. Red in color with the Africa Twin inspired stripes, and also pearl glare white with a black and grey African Twin inspired design similar to the one in Victory Red. So let's talk about price, okay? So we are basically talking about the first gen Honda X-ADV, which is basically the second market right now. We did not consult Honda Bunseo on the pricing whatsoever. So there's one listing for the 2020 model at $29,000, and another listing registered in 2019 for $26,000, and the 2018 model being sold for $25,000. So of course this will depend on the condition and the COE of the bike. And similar to the Super 4, the prices have been holding well for the X-ADV despite the condition, given that it's a very popular bike in the market right now. And I don't expect prices to fall below 20,000. It's very difficult to get an X-ADV below 20k.
So we're gonna go into the highway now, and of course definitely since we're in Malaysia, we can test out this bike to the fullest potential, and I have managed to clock the X-ADV to 150 and above 150 I feel scared already, so I'm not gonna go faster than that. Oh man, engine braking is really bad on this. Maybe because of the DCT, that's why. Because the gear, since it changes for you, right, it's pre-calibrated to be at a certain gear and certain speed, I think. So that's why the engine braking it's not that effective lah. So of course we're not going to test the bike out in an off-road situation, definitely. Oh my god. So I was told by Hadi that you need to be in control of the throttle because it's really torquey. It pushes me back actually just now. Alright. Oh my god, I don't even know where I am. So we come to this roundabout right here. Okay, so making a left right here, gonna go into the second link highway. Maintain speed very well, gets up to speed very quickly. There's a lot of wind protection, given that you can adjust your windshield. This is the highest on the windshield right now, but you have to manually adjust it lah, and you cannot adjust it while riding. It sucks though, because there's nothing in front of you right here. It really protects your feet and legs from the rain or elements, you know. Starting to drizzle a bit right now. Come on buddy, come on. Singaporeans are not conditioned to handle roundabouts because our country doesn't have too much roundabouts. Oh my gosh, I'm riding my dream bike. So once again, handling is pretty good. Leans and corners, we turn the bike to, no issues with city riding, city situations. But being an adventure bike, you can bring it to off-roads if you want to, but of course for this review we're not going to bring it to off-road lah. Do check out other videos to really see the X-ADV in off-road situations. Given from what I've seen on YouTube, right, no issues with off-road situations for the X-ADV. The brakes are good, you know. It comes with dual channel ABS, provided by Nissin calipers, 2 rotors in the front, 1 rotor in the rear, and there's also a 2-stage traction control. You can off it and toggle it accordingly. You can also off it in off-road situations, but for me I would rather have it, given that, you know, it's a safety feature lah. Right, so let's whack this bike a bit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I feel pretty much stable in high speeds. Okay, deflects the wind pretty well. Then by default in the stock configuration, it comes with these handguards, also shared with the Honda Africa Twin. I think highway riding, no issues and no problems at all. And I also noticed that at highway speeds, at 130 right now, the average fuel consumption increased. So it's really a fuel saving bike. No issues if you're riding up to KL or Thailand. This bike is also available in Malaysia, in Thailand, and all over the world. The X-ADV is a really popular bike. No need to worry about spare parts. I think any big bike shop will be able to do the X-ADV, But given the reliability of the NC series, I've never heard complaints about the X-ADV so far. So far, no major problems other than the DCT calibration. Other than that, I see no issues. I've heard no issues with the X-ADV. It's a very reliable bike so far, and it's proven with the popularity on it all over the world, And it really appeals to riders such as myself, who love unique, weird bikes. It's a scooter, but it very much behaves and feels like you're riding a motorcycle. I'm really happy and glad that I've been given the opportunity to ride one right now. Although it's the first generation, it's okay. This is the one that I wanted anyway. Not too keen on the second generation, but the second generation, they've improved upon the first generation's shortcomings and added more riding tech on it. TFT display, more riding modes, even a rain mode on it. I'm like, wow, Honda really engineered the X-ADV to perfection. It's really an awesome bike. Oh my gosh, thank you Hadi for lending me this bike. You have actually fulfilled my dream. Although I have 2 days with it, I'm convinced that I really want to own an X-ADV now. Oh my gosh, but it's just too expensive, and the prices for second-hand models have never been below 20k. That lies my issue. I mean, it's an expensive bike and a popular bike. That's why the X-ADV doesn't depreciate too much, Oh, I have no idea where I am, man. I'm just gonna ride on. Okay, so I find myself using my brakes a lot as opposed to engine braking to slow down the bike, because the engine braking is just not that good. Even in gravel mode, where they're supposed to be increased in engine braking, it's still not stopping that much. But maybe because this is a feature for DCT bikes, since it changes gears for you. And the X-ADV with the awesome suspension really goes through the bumps and road imperfections like right now. I mean, it's an off-road bike. It's an adventure bike. Of course, it's meant to take on the very rough roads, But man, I'm just having the time of my life with the X-ADV right now. Okay, I think I go up to KL lah. At this rate, I'm gonna go up to KL already. Okay lah guys, so do keep supporting Tambak Overlanders lah. Watch our videos, share our videos, buy our merch, so that I can get an X-ADV for myself. I really want an X-ADV, guys. I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts and conclusions on the X-ADV, and we'll see you in a bit.
So I've had like 2 days with my dream bike, well, at least one of my dream bikes. The Honda X-ADV first generation. Okay, let's start with the good things about this bike lah. It's very practical. Yeah, as a scooter, it comes with underseat storage, even though I can only fit one full face helmet inside. And from what I've seen on YouTube, it's a really versatile bike. Riders really whack this bike off-road, and I can handle anything and everything you throw at it lah, basically. Lots of riding tech that helps with the riding experience and safety. Dual stage traction control, riding modes, and also the DCT, the dual clutch transmission on this, with the ability to go from manual to auto with just a push of a button. Makes it really interesting riding experience, and it feels like a motorcycle, but at the same time it's a scooter, It's something unique lah. And on the road when you're riding it, it doesn't feel feel like you're riding a scooter nor a motorcycle. It's somewhat in between. It has the best of both worlds, you know. It's certainly something different than whatever I've ridden before, scooters and motorcycles combined. So it's neither a scooter nor motorcycle. It's really somewhat in between, especially with the dual clutch transmission on this. Yeah, pretty interesting riding experience. The DCT is very subtle. There's only like attack when you're changing gears in both auto and manual. You don't even need to clutch in or throttle down, you know. You can just maintain the throttle and change gears, and it will just auto shift for you in manual mode. Okay, so it comes to the downsides of the Honda X-ADV. Even though I'm quite biased with this review, as this is my dream bike, but I'll try to find certain things that I'm not too fond of lah. At 138 kg, it's a bit heavy. The ride height is 82 cm, it's a bit high. So for me, I'm vertically challenged at 165. So definitely, I'm tiptoeing considerably on this. So something that I really need to get used to lah. The DCT can be destructive. In manual mode, going at low speeds, like for example, you're going up a ramp at a multi-story car park, it changes to first gear automatically, and this results in jerking lah, as if the bike is going to stall, but you know that this bike is not going to stall. But the jerking is still kind of scary for me because I feel as if I'm going to drop the bike or stall the bike, for example, when going up a ramp lah. I think there won't be any issues if there's a clutch to pull in, and also if you're in that situation, at least you can go into a free wheel lah. So in that situation, it's actually kind of scary lah, out of fear that you may drop or fall or think that you're going to stall the bike lah. And when you're sitting on it, especially after long rides, right, this area over here, your inner thighs gets a bit hot, given that the engine is directly underneath here. So it's not as hot as a Harley, it's still bearable, but the heat is still there lah. So certainly something you need to get used to lah when you're riding it. And also a bit that expensive, okay? Even the first generation second-hand ones are still going above 20k, 22k, 23k. You're never gonna find one below 20k. Prices are holding up pretty good for the X-ADV, and given it's a popular bike and really in demand, the resale value is quite high lah. So I'm glad that I'm given an opportunity to ride my dream bike. Finally, I get a real taste of how the X-ADV handles on public roads and also on the Malaysian highways. I mean, at 150, 160, it's a very comfortable bike to ride. Handles like a dream, very stable at high speeds. What more can you ask? It's really a perfect bike. And with the unique outlook, the riding tech and versatility, this is why the X-ADV is my dream bike. So once again, thank you to Auto Exchange, Hadi, for loaning me this bike for the review. And yeah, I really appreciate them for letting me live my dream for 2 days lah, at least for 2 days lah. And they brought this bike for 5 days already. I'm being told that it's a very popular bike ever since they promoted it in their social media pages. They've been getting a lot of inquiries about it. So do contact Hadi if you intend to rent the X-ADV lah. So yeah, that's it for the vlog, and we will see you in the next one.